All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect. This is the brother Yeshaya coming at you with another lesson. This video is going to be titled, Where There Is No Law, There Is No Transgression. And this stemmed from a discussion that we had in class. One of the brothers, one of the younger brothers, we were going over, the Gentile, the mystery of the Gentiles and everything like that, just touching on it. And basically, the brother had said, that anyone, the heathen have trust, has transgressed the Lord. And, which, I held my peace, but, I knew that that wasn't correct. Okay. Only Israelites who were given the covenant, who were given the promise, all right, can transgress the Heavenly Father. Okay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Romans 4 and 14. For if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect, because the law worketh wrath. For where no law is, there is no transgression. Okay, so where there is no law, there is no transgression. Let's get that in Romans 4. I mean, in let's get that in NLT. All right, Romans 4 and 17, 15. In the NLT, for the law always brings punishment on those who try to obey it. The only way to avoid breaking the law is to have no law to break. So the only ones that are found technically, responsible for breaking the law, transgressing the laws of the Lord, is Israelites. Because when you go to 1 John, it tells you what actually, the breaking of the law is. 1 John 2 and 3. And whereby we do know that we keep his commandments if we keep, Slakia. And whereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him and keepeth not his commandments, Slakia. I always get this one mixed up. Yeah, 1 John 3 and 4. I always do that. 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So in the biblical sense, all right, sin is the actual transgression of the law. Now let's look that word transgression up. And that's G4160. Paiheo.
Strong's G 4160. Poyeo. Poyeo.
Okay, to make, to acquire, let's see, to make a thing out of something, to put one forth, let's see, to carry out, to execute, to make ready, to perform, to promise. That's not it, but transgress means basically to go back. All right, or to basically, let's see, to make or do without any, that's not giving me anything. Okay, let's see, let's go to this word. Okay. Yeah, that's not showing me anything. Let's see what this says. Definition of transgression. Okay, in the Bible, transgression means crossing a set boundary, breaking a known law, or actively rebelling against the Most High's authority. It is like stepping over a clear line that the Most High drew, turning a simple mistake into a deliberate choice to break trust. Okay, so when we decided to go after idols and eat things, offered to blood, eat things offered unto idols, eating blood, drinking of the blood. Just imagine, hey, the scriptures say that they play in the wilderness. The Israelites played. So basically, in the wilderness, they were committing all types of adultery, man. Okay, even idolatry when that golden calf was erected. So in the Hebrew used Old Testament, it means rebellion. Hebrew pasha used in the Old Testament, it means rebellion, revolt, or a breach of trust in a relationship. It is like breaking an agreement with a friend or a spouse. And what was that agreement? Okay, that agreement was given to us. Okay, in the wilderness. Okay, by Moses. Okay, with the sprinkling of the blood on the Israelites, man. That's how you seal a covenant. All right. So, and never mind. But anyway, it says in the Greek, it's a paraptoma. Used in the New Testament, it means stepping aside from a straight path or falling away. All right, so that's what we did. Okay, we had a great falling away. In 70 AD, that's namely, what's that speaking about, but we fell away, from the law, statutes, and commandments. We started to fall away in various captivities, including the Grecian captivity, known as the Slovakia, known as the Hellenization period. Okay, I don't know why I got a little brain fog, but it's all right. Okay, so there you go. All right, so only Israelites can transgress the law because they were given the law. Okay. Let's go to the book of Galatians, chapter 3, and verse 17. And it reads, "And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of the Most High in Hamashiach, the law." Oh, see, that's the law. Yahushua is the law, which was 430 years after. Okay, cannot disannul that it should make the promise of none effect. So that covenant, okay, was made, all right, with Abraham, okay, because of his faith. All right, so but it came into play 430 years later, okay, to be a schoolmaster. It says the basically the laws was our school teacher, okay. For if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of promise. But Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua gave it to Abraham by promise. Okay, so the promise, it was always given to us. It was always made for us. Some people say, "Oh, well, Jacob stole the birthright." No, it was always meant for us because he established it and promised it to Abraham. Okay, so it's always gonna come to us either way. All right, so there you go. We can go to Psalms. The headlock, Psalms 147 and 17. I mean, 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob. Okay, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Okay, that's the where the covenant was handed down to the righteous seed. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Okay, he have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So we were put in captivity, okay, because we transgressed the laws of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. All right. So, and that's why we were put into captivity, because he loved us as a nation. Okay, if you have a son and he's disobedient, you're gonna whip him and make him to feel the rod. Okay, so that in hopes he will basically correct his ways. And that's what the Lord did to us, by putting us in these various captivities. Baruch 4:6, you were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because you moved Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. So there you go. All right. Going into the book of Psalms. Back in the book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 16. Salaki. Yeah, Psalms 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? So, to the wicked, okay, to, basically Esau, Edom, okay, what has thou to take thy covenants in their mouths? Okay, they claim to be the people of the Most High. All right, but clearly they're not. Okay, they're unruly. Okay, I mean Israelites. 2/3 of Israelites, they're wicked. But the wicked, okay, when you go into the scriptures, Malachi, the book of Malachi, okay, fourth chapter, I believe, the first verse on down, it talks and tells you in detail who the wicked is. So, this covenant, there is no inclusivity. There isn't any apologists. Um, you know, it's no, this is our covenant, and we took the brunt of not following the covenant by these various captivities. So where have you been punished? All right, where have you been hanging from light poles, or lynched, or breaking up families, and just all of the atrocities of the transatlantic slave trade? All right, not only the transatlantic slave trade, but also the when the Spaniards came over, man. Okay, because it said Ephraim, Judah, and Ephraim will be reunited over here, and that's what is happening right now in Babylon the Great. Okay, um, let's see, Amos 3:2. You only, Salaki, verse 1, Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, so we were the family that, or the nation that he saved out of Egypt. And we had, there was, some heathen with us, okay, that multitude, okay, there was a multitude, all right, but the Lord had weeded those multitudes out via Yahushua, okay, in certain ways. You can go into Apocrypha, where he sent wild beasts on them, and also in the scriptures it talks about when basically Yahushua, Paul went into it. He shut off the back light of the chariot, and they, were just got lost in the woods, you know. So hey, the Lord weeded out all of those heathen, man. So there was not one heathen that partook in the sprinkling of the blood of the covenant by Moses. All right, it was all for the nation of Israel. All right. So hopefully this is making sense. Hosea chapter 6 and verse 7, and it reads, but they, like men, have transgressed the covenant. There have they dealt treacherously against me. There you go. Verse 7 in the NLT. But like Adam, you broke my covenant and betrayed my trust. Okay. And the covenant was only given to us. So yeah, there you go. All right. Jeremiah 34 and verse 18. And it reads, yeah. And I will give the men that have transgressed my covenant, which have not performed the words of the covenant which they had made before me, when they cut the calf in twain and passed between the parts thereof. The princes of Judah and the princes of Jerusalem, okay, the northern and the southern kingdom, respectively, all right, collectively, the eunuchs and the priests and all the people of the land which passed between the parts of the calf, I will even give them into the hands of their enemies, and into the hand of them that seek their life, and their dead bodies shall be for meat unto the fowls of heaven and the beasts of the earth. Okay, so we got our ass handed to us because we broke the covenant. Okay, but the Lord is still dealing with us, and He's bringing that remnant back. And this is the last one. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, and verse 1. But now thus saith the Lord Yahweh that created thee, O Jacob, O he that formed thee, O Israel. Okay, the northern, the southern kingdom, okay, and the northern kingdom. All right, which is the southern kingdom consists of Benjamin, Levi, and Judah, of course, the head tribe, and then Ephraim on down to Issachar. Okay, fear not, I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. Okay, so there you go. All right. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. For I am the Lord Yahweh thy power, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Okay, since thou was precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee and people for thy life. Okay. So there you go. All right, the Lord has this whole book, okay, basically backs up the covenant between us and the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. All right. So I'm going to end it with that. Lord willing, it was edifying, giving our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachahagwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, safety to the Lord's elect. Shalom.